The edge of extinction. The massive silhouette of the UES Relentless cut through the darkness of space, like a predatory shark through midnight waters. Its obsidian hull absorbed what little starlight reached this remote sector, making it almost invisible against the void. Only the occasional gleam of running lights gave away its position, deliberate signals meant for human eyes alone. Captain Maya Ortiz stood at the command viewport, her weathered face illuminated by the soft blue glow of tactical displays. 20 years of war had etched deep lines around her eyes and mouth, but her gaze remained sharp, focused on the distant star system that housed humanity's most dangerous enemy. "Status report," she said, her voice carrying the quiet authority that had kept her crew alive through countless battles. Commander Davi Chen approached, his movement slightly awkward in the ship's artificial gravity. "Stealth systems at maximum efficiency, Captain. The Karathi detection grid hasn't picked us up yet. And the Prometheus." Chen's expression tightened almost imperceptibly. "Engineering reports final calibrations will be complete in 4 hours. Dr. Nakamura wants you to know the system is untested in actual combat conditions." "Everything is untested until someone tests it, Commander," Ortiz replied, turning back to the viewport. "And we're out of alternatives." The grim reality hung in the recycled air of the bridge. Earth was burning. Mars had fallen 6 months ago. The Jupiter colonies went silent last week. The Karathi had pushed humanity to the brink of extinction with methodical precision, their biotechnology overwhelming human defenses planet by planet, moon by moon. The Relentless carried humanity's last hope, Project Prometheus, a weapon system so controversial that half the Admiralty had voted against its deployment. The other half had simply run out of moral objections in the face of species-wide annihilation. "Captain," Lieutenant Rivera called from the communications station, encrypted transmission from Admiral Tagawa. Ortiz nodded and moved to her private terminal. The Admiral's face appeared, haggard and grim. Behind him, emergency lights flashed, and personnel rushed by with urgent purpose. "Maya," he said, dispensing with formalities, "Luna Base just fell. They've breached the inner solar system's final defensive line." Ortiz felt her heart sink but kept her expression neutral. "Casualties. Total. The Karathi aren't taking prisoners anymore." Tagawa looked away for a moment, composing himself. "You're all that's left of our offensive capability. The Prometheus protocol is now authorized under Epsilon Directives." Epsilon Directives. The words chilled Ortiz to her core. Total war. No restrictions. No quarter. "Understood, Admiral. We'll make it count. The survival of our species depends on it, Captain." Tagawa out. The screen went dark, leaving Ortiz with the weight of all humanity pressing down on her shoulders. She returned to the command deck, where her senior officers awaited orders. "Navigation. Set course for the Karathi homeworld. Maximum stealth approach." Her voice betrayed nothing of the turmoil within. "Tactical. Begin final preparations for Prometheus deployment." The bridge crew exchanged glances, but no one questioned the orders. They all knew what was at stake. "Captain," Chen said quietly as the others returned to their stations, "we're talking about their homeworld. Billions of civilians. Were they concerned about civilians when they vaporized Sydney or Tokyo?" Ortiz's eyes flashed. "When they released biophages on the Europa settlements. Children, Chen. Millions of children." Chen fell silent, but his discomfort was evident. Ortiz softened slightly. "I don't like it either, Commander. But we're out of options and out of time. If the Karathi reach Earth's surface, humanity ends. Not just our military, our species." The Relentless accelerated toward its target, its advanced engines barely a whisper against the void. Ahead lay the Karathi home system, 7 planets orbiting a yellow sun, the third world their cradle of civilization. Hours passed in tense silence. The crew performed their duties with the precision of veterans, knowing each action might be among humanity's last. In engineering, Dr. Area Nakamura supervised the final preparations for Project Prometheus, the quantum phase disruptor that had cost thousands of lives and trillions of resources to develop. Bridge to engineering. Ortiz's voice came through the comm system. Status update. Nakamura wiped sweat from her brow. Final calibrations complete, Captain. Prometheus is as ready as it's going to be. Define, as ready as it's going to be, Doctor. Nakamura hesitated. The targeting system works. The quantum field will deploy. But I can't guarantee how the Karathi defense grid will react. This is technology they've never encountered. That's the idea, Doctor. Stand by. As the Relentless approached the outer boundary of the Karathi system, Sensor Officer Lieutenant Park stiffened at his station. Captain, detecting anomalous energy signatures at coordinates 37 Mark 9. Identify. Can't get a clear reading. They're shifting, like nothing I've seen before. Ortiz frowned. Magnify. The tactical display zoomed in, revealing what appeared to be empty space, but as they watched, something shimmered, a distortion effect that rippled like heat waves above hot asphalt. Stealth technology, Chen suggested. Possible, Park replied, fingers dancing across his console. But our systems should be able to penetrate Karathi cloaking fields. Ortiz felt a chill run down her spine. Full stop. Maintain stealth configuration. The Relentless halted its approach, hanging motionless in the darkness. Recalibrate sensors, Ortiz ordered. I want to know what we're looking at. Minutes passed as Park worked. Then his face drained of color. Captain, it's not just one anomaly. They're everywhere. Hundreds of them, surrounding the entire system. The tactical display updated, showing ripples of energy encircling the Karathi home system like a vast bubble. It's a detection grid, Chen realized. More advanced than anything we've encountered before. Ortiz's mind raced. Can they see us? I don't think so. Not yet. We're still outside its effective range. But if we proceed... The decision weighed heavily. Retreat meant humanity's extinction. Advance meant potentially sacrificing the Relentless before they could deploy Prometheus. Options? Ortiz asked. Chief Engineer Rodriguez spoke up from his station. We could modify our stealth field to match the harmonic frequency of their detection grid. In theory, we might slip through undetected. In theory. Rodriguez shrugged. It's that or turn around, Captain. Before Ortiz could respond, Park called out again. Movement. Multiple contacts emerging from the fifth planet. The display showed sleek, organic-looking vessels. Karathi warships, their distinctive biomechanical designs unmistakable. They moved with fluid grace, accelerating toward the outer system. They're on an intercept course, Chen observed. They know we're here. Ortiz clenched her jaw. How? We're still outside their detection range. No one had an answer, but the implications were clear. The Relentless had been betrayed. Someone had leaked their mission parameters, their timetable. The element of surprise was gone. Battle stations, Ortiz ordered, her voice calm despite the mounting dread. Charge weapon systems. Prepare defensive countermeasures. As the crew rushed to their positions, Ortiz opened a channel to engineering. Dr. Nakamura, we need Prometheus operational now. We've lost the element of surprise. But, Captain, we haven't run the final simulations. There's no time, Doctor. The Karathi are coming for us. It's now or never. The approaching alien fleet grew larger on the tactical display, their formation precise and devastating. 8 heavy cruisers, escorted by dozens of smaller craft, moving with the coordination that had overwhelmed human defenses time and again. They'll be in weapons range in 6 minutes, Chen reported. Ortiz nodded grimly. Helm, calculated evasive pattern delta. Tactical, target the lead vessel. Let's see if we can thin their numbers before deploying Prometheus. As the Relentless powered up its conventional weapons, a strange transmission cut through the ship's communications. At first, it was just static, but then it cleared, revealing a voice that was almost human but distorted by translation algorithms. "UES Relentless," the voice said. "This is High Commander Salak of the Karathi Defense Force. We know your purpose here. We know about Prometheus." The bridge fell silent, the implications of those words sinking in. How could they possibly? Chen began. Ortiz silenced him with a gesture, motioning for communications to open a channel. "This is Captain Maya Ortiz of the United Earth ship Relentless. You've committed genocide against my species. We're here to return the favor." A sound came through the speakers, something between a hiss and a laugh. "Your species has always been direct. We've studied you for decades, Captain. Your determination, your ingenuity, your capacity for both compassion and brutality. Save the xenoanthropology lesson," Ortiz snapped. "You've killed billions of us. Did you expect us to lie down and die?" "No," Salak replied. "We expected exactly this response. That's why we're prepared." At that moment, the tactical display updated, showing dozens more Karathi vessels emerging from hidden positions around the system. It wasn't just a fleet. It was an armada, positioned to spring a trap that the Relentless had flown directly into. "Your Prometheus weapon," Salak continued, "is impressive technology, but it will never activate within our containment field." As if on cue, the Karathi ships began to move into a new formation, surrounding the Relentless in a spherical pattern. Energy readings spiked across all sensor arrays. "They're generating some kind of dampening field," Park reported, voice rising with urgency. "It's interfering with our systems." Ortiz felt the trap closing around her ship, around humanity's last hope. But 20 years of warfare had taught her one crucial lesson. Even in the darkest moments, humans were at their most dangerous when cornered. "All hands," she announced shipwide, "prepare for combat. Today we fight not just for ourselves, but for every human who has fallen. For every child who will never be born if we fail." She turned to Chen, her eyes burning with determination. "They think they know us, Commander. Let's show them how wrong they are." Turning the tide. The first impact rocked the Relentless with such force that 3 crew members were thrown from their stations. Emergency lighting bathed the bridge in crimson as alarms wailed throughout the ship. "Direct hit to our port shields," Lieutenant Park shouted over the chaos. "Shield integrity at 70%. Captain Ortiz gripped her command chair, steadying herself as the massive warship shuddered beneath her. "Return fire, all batteries. Target their lead vessels." The Relentless responded like a wounded predator, its weapon systems unleashing devastating energy beams toward the Karathi formation. Several shots found their marks, but the alien vessels absorbed the impacts with minimal damage. "Their shields are adapting to our weapon frequencies," Commander Chen reported grimly, effectiveness dropping with each volley. Another hit sent tremors through the hull. This time, the lights flickered momentarily before stabilizing. "Port shields at 45%, Park updated. "They're concentrating their fire." Ortiz's mind raced through tactical options, each more desperate than the last. The Karathi containment field was disrupting their systems, making it impossible to deploy Prometheus. Without it, they were just one ship against an armada. "Engineering, status on Prometheus," she demanded. Dr. Nakamura's voice came through, distorted by interference. "The quantum initiators are being suppressed by their field." "I need tow." Static interrupted her. "Modulate the phase variance." "Whatever you're doing, do it faster," Ortiz replied as another blast rocked the ship. On the tactical display, the Karathi ships tightened their formation, their organic-looking hulls pulsing with bioluminescent energy as they coordinated their attack. It was like watching a pack of predators corralling their prey. "Captain," Commander Chen said quietly, leaning closer to Ortiz, "we need to consider the self-destruct protocols. If they capture Prometheus intact," Ortiz nodded grimly. "The weapons technology couldn't be allowed to fall into Karathi hands, but destroying it meant humanity's last hope would die with them." "Not yet, Commander. We still have options." The ship lurched violently as another barrage struck home. Starboard shields failing. Park called out. Hull breach on deck 7. Emergency protocols engage. Rodriguez's voice cut through from engineering. Captain, we can't take much more of this. Reactor containment is holding, but barely. Ortiz made her decision. Helm, full power to engines. Take us straight into the heart of their formation. The navigation officer turned, shock evident on his face. Direct confrontation. Captain, their concentrated fire will tear us apart. They want Prometheus intact, Ortiz replied, her expression hardening. They'll adjust their tactics if they think we're going to ram them. Do it. The Relentless surged forward, its engines straining as the massive warship accelerated toward the center of the Karathi formation. As predicted, the alien vessels began to shift position, their fire becoming more defensive than destructive. They're breaking formation, Chen observed, a hint of hope in his voice. Engineering, status, Ortiz demanded. Nakamura's voice came through clearer now. The disruption is weakening as they spread out. I've almost got a solution for the quantum initiators. Another impact shook the ship, this one different. More focused, more precise. Boarding craft, Park shouted, detecting multiple breaches on lower decks. Ortiz hit the shipwide comm. Security teams to all breach points. Repel boarders. Engineering, implement Omega protocols. No alien reaches the Prometheus chamber. Throughout the Relentless, desperate battles erupted as Karathi boarding parties, sleek, chitinous creatures with multiple limbs and bioluminescent features, poured into the corridors. Human security teams met them with disciplined fire, but the aliens moved with unnatural speed, their exoskeletons deflecting many of the shots. On the bridge, Ortiz reviewed the damage reports with growing concern. They were losing this fight, deck by deck. Captain, Rodriguez called from engineering, his voice strained. We've got multiple hostiles approaching the Prometheus chamber. Security teams are holding, but they won't last long. Before Ortiz could respond, the tactical display flickered, replaced by the alien face of High Commander Zalek. Its features were unsettlingly both insectoid and reptilian, with compound eyes that reflected the light in prismatic patterns. Your resistance is admirable, Captain Ortiz, the creature said, mandibles clicking between words. But ultimately futile. Surrender your vessel and the Prometheus technology. We offer terms. Ortiz laughed bitterly. Terms. After what you've done to my people. Survival. Zalek replied simply. For the remaining human colonies. For your species, we never intended extermination, only containment of a potential threat. Tell that to the billions you've slaughtered. Zalek's head tilted in what might have been the alien equivalent of regret. War necessitates harsh actions. Your species possesses qualities that make you exceptionally dangerous. We've studied you for centuries, Captain. Your adaptability, your relentlessness, your ability to turn disadvantage into victory. As the alien spoke, Ortiz noticed movement on the tactical display that had partially returned to one corner of the screen. The Karathi vessels were repositioning, forming a new pattern around the Relentless. What qualities would those be, Commander? She asked, stalling for time as she signaled Chen to analyze the movement. Your unpredictability. Zalek replied.